What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and today it's the Game Week 35 plus watch list. Yes, there's only been a few games so far in Game Week 34, but as I keep saying, it's a really weird stage of football at the moment. Obviously, with everything going on, the game weeks are coming thick and fast. The team selection will be out tomorrow, Game Week preview on Friday, and the deadline's on Saturday. So there's no other real place to fit this in. And to be honest, given the short turnarounds, I am already thinking about my Game Week 35 plus transfers, and even, to be honest, Game Week 36 as well. So I'm going to go through 4 players that I'm looking at potentially for this week, or could be brought in over the next couple of weeks with decent fixtures, decent opportunities, and probably a few little differentials thrown in as well. So let's jump straight into it. So first up is Jamie Vardy, and to be honest, this isn't going to be anything new. This is going to be the bandwagon transfer in this week. This is the player you're going to see a lot of talk of in the community over the next few days. Unless someone completely out of the blue does well over the next few fixtures, I think it will be Jamie Vardy. 9.7 million, so not that easy to fit in, especially if you've gone for a cheap forward line. Obviously, for those of people that have bought in Greenwood and Foden, maybe taken out Liverpool midfielders as well, there's a lot of money going around. But still, 9.7 million is not extremely cheap, but it is obviously better than the likes of Aubameyang and Kane. Now, his ownership is still somewhere close to about 30% overall. A lot of that will kind of be dead teams. I doubt many active teams have him in right now as of Game Week 34. Of course, that probably will change for Game Week 35, which is why I'm talking about him today. And his top 10k ownership going into Game Week 34 was 9.49%. So I would expect that to climb, but I don't think it'll be huge. He's not going to suddenly be 40 or 50% owned. I think people are looking elsewhere with their transfers potentially, as well as Vardy. It's not suddenly going to go from 9.49 up to a ridiculous percentage. So somewhat of a differential. Also scored 3 goals in the last 2. So 2 against Palace, 1 against Arsenal. And we know what he's like. He's a bit of a hot streak player. Hasn't necessarily played that well in the last 2 games. I would say the same for Leicester. But obviously, next up is Bournemouth. Now, there was a bit of a kick out, or not, depending on how you view it, on Mustafi in the Arsenal game. I don't think, because VAR could have looked at that, I don't think that's going to get changed to kind of a suspension post-game, but obviously we will have to keep an eye on that before the deadline, but I don't think that's going to happen. But like I said, quite a streaky player, and the thing with kind of Bournemouth, we know how bad they were against Man United. We're kind of saying that they're the whipping boys, they're going to concede a lot of goals. We will get to see them in action against Spurs. How many goals will Spurs put past them? If it's a lot there as well, bearing in mind we don't think Spurs are that good going forward either, but even if they can get a few against Bournemouth, then suddenly Jamie Vardy looks like a great option. Still going for the golden boot in pole position, looks really good for getting that. The fixtures are not fantastic. I think Bournemouth away looks on paper really good. Again, we'll see after that Spurs game exactly what we think of that. Sheffield United at home is interesting. Sheffield United is not a team that I would want to target usually for most of this season. And O'Connell is back. But this is at home, which maybe helps a little bit. But that could be tough. And then it's Spurs and Man United. So I've got to be honest, this is probably going to be a 1 or 2 game punt for me. That is in the back of my mind. I think because I sorted out my team with 2 free transfers this week, I don't necessarily need to make 2 free transfers for the next couple of weeks, barring injuries. So he has gone to kind of top of my watch list. I think the difference with bringing him and Kane is, one, he's looked better than Kane, first of all. And also, Kane had Bournemouth and then Arsenal. And look, Vardy just scored against Arsenal. Of course, Kane could as well. But Arsenal have been pretty good defensively, and I think Spurs might struggle there. Whereas with Vardy, if you had to make a different transfer, you could probably stomach holding him for Sheffield United at home. Probably not going to score a brace or a hat-trick, but could get 1 goal, bonus points like we saw last night against Arsenal, and go from there. So I think he's probably top of my watch list. I'm pretty sure I'm going to bring him in. I'm even thinking about captaining him this week, which I'll talk about more in the team selection video tomorrow. But yeah, I think Jamie Vardy will be a big bandwagon. Definitely top of my watch list. 9.7 million. I've got the cash to do it. I'm probably going to go for it. So next on the list is Christian Pulisic. This is a player that I could have brought in for Game Week 34, but didn't. I chose Antonio instead. We haven't yet seen the Burnley-West Ham game yet, so Antonio could get close to Pulisic, maybe beat him. I think that's probably clutching at straws a little bit. But obviously, Pulisic starting off with a 9 point, it does hurt a tad bit when you went for Antonio instead. But he's still on the watch list. He is a player that I want. To be honest, I would happily play like 7-8 midfielders right now. There's so many good options, which is half the reason I put Jesus up front, because I just had other midfielders that I wanted to get in. And yes, Foden would have been great, but someone like Pulisic or Antonio are really good too. And I've not taken him off the watch list yet. I think he may have even been on the last watch list video. He's still on now. So, you know, if you've watched my videos a lot, or before, at any point really. I'm a bit of a fixtures man, so Sheffield United away doesn't strike me as a great fixture still. Now, to be fair, I was hoping that Crystal Palace would keep Chelsea quiet last night, and they didn't really. In fact, I feel quite lucky that Pulisic and Willian didn't get more points. Really quick shout out to Willian, by the way. Got quite a bit of stick in the FPL community, not being a great option compared to Pulisic, but he outscored him last night. No set pieces, both assists from open play. Outscored Pulisic again. Now, the reason I put Pulisic ahead of Willian is because, all jokes aside about the two of them, I do think from open play you're probably going to see more goals from Pulisic, maybe more assists from Willian. While Jorginho is not in the team, Willian looks like a good option because of penalties. Jorginho did look good when he came on. Chelsea controlled the game better when he came on. But will he and Frank Lampard, whatever's going on between them, kiss and make up? Will Lampard start using him a bit more? I don't know. But I'm kind of going off track a bit. I still think Pulisic is the one I would go for, basically. But Sheffield United away, that strikes me as a tricky fixture, especially with O'Connell back. So let's see how they do in Gameweek 34 before I maybe look to bring him in. Otherwise, I'm looking at that Norwich game. And to be honest, not only am I looking at that Norwich game, I'm potentially looking at captaining him this week. I'm trying to look. I don't want to. I've said this loads of times before. I don't want to captain a differential for the sake of it. And Pulisic's ownership will have gone up by then, but I don't expect too many people to captain him. A few will against Norwich, but not a huge amount. Most people will still go to kind of Man City and Man United. And to be fair, Man City do play Bournemouth in Game Week 36. But if we don't think Pulisic gets rotated against Norwich at home, that's like a really good pick. My only worry about him is, and why I'm still debating about whether to even look at him or not, is potential rotation concerns. Now, Lampard, to be fair to him, when he has informed players like Pulisic, he keeps on playing them, but he's played pretty much 90 minutes. Potentially he's a bit like Bruno Fernandes, and he's just going to keep on starting every single week. He's super fit. Or at some point, Lampard is going to have to rest him. And what better game to do it in than the easiest game they have left in the league, Norwich, which, by the way, is sandwiched, after that, Man United in the FA Cup is sandwiched between Norwich and Liverpool. So if you're going to rest him, you do it in the easier games, surely. Have him back for Man United and then have him back for Liverpool and Wolves, because top four is still on for Man United and Chelsea. They're both doing really well in terms of wins at the moment. Lampard will know that. Liverpool and Wolves, they're going to have to take points off them, you'd imagine, to get top four spot. It's not going to be over by Game Week 37, looking how it's kind of going right now, and looking at Leicester's next two fixtures and Man United's two fixtures. It's still going to be ongoing by Game Week 37. So Lampard's going to have to take points off Liverpool and Wolves. He's going to need Pulisic to do that. So I'm not trying to scaremonger anyone. I think we all know that there could be rotation for any player at this point. But that Norwich game does worry me a little bit. So basically, I'm going to see how his minutes get managed against Sheffield United. I don't think I'm going to bring him in there unless I get an injury to one of my midfielders. And then Norwich are home. If he's rested for Sheffield United or has his minutes managed, I may even bring him in and captain him that week for Antonio. We'll have to see what happens because Antonio's fixtures are quite good for the rest of the season. But Pulisic surely on the watch list for anyone that doesn't own him. Looks a really good buy. 8 goals, 6 assists already this season. Bearing in mind he's missed a lot of minutes. One to watch. I'm not sure many people probably expected to see Lucas Digne in this video, unless I decide to put him in the thumbnail, which, by the way, I will decide after I recorded the video. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get a defensive transfer between now and the end of the season. I've already talked about maybe attacking transfers that I might make. But he is definitely someone that I would look at. 5.7 million is not cheap. I've already talked about ways that people will have money at this stage, Foden, Greenwood, etc. And when you look at the defensive stats since the restart, now this is not including Game Week 34 because there's only been a few games. They're the 4th best team for the amount of shots in the box conceded. So they've conceded the 4th fewest shots in the box since the restart. And they're 4th best for expected goals conceded as well. So very good defensively. Ancelotti's had them playing, to be honest, pretty well defensively since he came in. Offensively, maybe not quite so good, but from a defensive point of view, I like it. And in that run, since restart, they've played Liverpool, Leicester and Spurs. So to be the 4th best defence, essentially, at least on paper, I'm not saying they are the 4th best defence in the league, but on paper, with those fixtures played, that's pretty damn good for Everton. So they look good from a defensive point of view. And if you look at the fixtures, the two I've got coloured orange, Sheffield United and Wolves, to be fair, I actually think from a defensive point of view, they're not bad fixtures. Now, Wolves is debatable because they've still got Jimenez, and he's got to play Sheffield United this week in Game Week 34. Let's see what they do. They haven't really been a goal-scoring phenomenon since they came back from lockdown. Yes, they've kept plenty of clean sheets. Yes, they look good for wins. But are they going to score a lot of goals against Everton? I'm not so sure. So I actually think They've got 4 very good defensive fixtures left, including Sheffield United. Again, is it easy to score against Sheffield United with O'Connell back, a fully fit back 5? Probably not. But is their goal scoring ability that good? No, it's not really. So I think Everton's fixtures are really good. I mean, Aston Villa might give them a bit of a go. Bournemouth will probably, if anything, be relegated by then or be safe. It could be done by game week 38. If not, that could be tricky. Obviously, Bournemouth might be fighting for their lives, literally like their last chance at that point. So we'll have to see how that goes. But defensively, I think they're pretty good fixtures. And he's already got 7 assists this season, which I think has probably gone under the radar a little bit. We know he can get a double-figure haul as well. I think we've seen 2 or 3 of those already. And since restart, only Chilwell and Azpilicueta have actually created more chances. He's also on set pieces as well. So when I think about the defensive transfers I might make, I already own Trent, I already own Maguire, I already own a Wolves defender. Who else would I look at? Maybe, a Leicester defender if they had better fixtures. They don't, so I'd probably discount them straight away. And Azpilicueta maybe at Chelsea, but as they showed again against Crystal Palace, which I just spoke about with Pulisic, they're a good team going forward. They are not a good team defensively. So Azpilicueta on his day, bonus points, assists, clean sheets, absolutely. But how many clean sheets do I expect them to get? So from a defensive point of view, I don't think there's actually too many options that I don't already own that I would want to buy, which is why I've put Digne on this watch list. I think if I needed a defensive transfer or had a spare one, I wanted to go something different. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Maguire, I finally make that change to get Greenwood up front, which I could still do at some point. I don't think I will, but I could. Digne would probably be top of my list. Liverpool have got Burnley in game week 35, but then they've got some trickier fixtures. I think Arsenal's one of them. So I'm not sure I would necessarily back their defence, at least not in the double up. I've got Trent. Would I go double up with Van Dijk? Probably not. Not to say that Liverpool can't get clean sheets, but it's just not where my thinking is. So Lucas Digne, if I get a defensive player in, I think right now he's top of my list. But I'd be interested in your comments below. Is there a better option than him outside of Maguire, Trent and Saiss? Bearing in mind I won't go to Doherty. I'm not going to use a transfer to get a Wolves defender in at this point when I already own Saiss. So let me know, is there a better option than Digne, do you think? So that's it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Nice and short, just 3 players on the watch list that are new at the moment. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe right here if you're new. If you want to watch another video, there's some more to the right as well. Check out all the links below for Patreon. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter and all that good stuff. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. Cheers all.